The Simpsons predicted the future, in this case, the Astroworld Music Festival tragedy.
Before we dive into the spine-chilling predictions of The Simpsons, here's a quick question for you. Have you ever wondered if we're living in some twisted sequel of the show? If you haven't, you might want to think again. As the longest-running sitcom in TV history, The Simpsons has earned its place not just for its iconic humor, but for eerily accurate predictions about the future. Donald Trump's presidency? Check. The Disney-Fox merger? Check. It's almost like the writers of the show had a crystal ball. Now, as we race toward 2025, fans are on the edge of their seats, wondering, what could Springfield's weirdest residents predict next? Could their outlandish predictions actually be shaping our future? You might be surprised. So, if you're ready to get your mind blown, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned. You won't want to miss the shocking Simpsons prediction that's far too real for comfort. Let's look at one of their most disturbing predictions, an environmental disaster, a hard prediction to ignore. If you're a longtime Simpsons fan, you probably remember the Simpsons movie, 2007, where Springfield experiences a massive environmental catastrophe and the government locks the entire town under a giant glass dome. Yes, you read that right. A glass dome. Doesn't sound too crazy, right? When you think about it, the idea might sound like something out of a cheesy sci-fi movie, until you take a closer look at what's happening in the real world today. Jokes aside, the show's depiction of an environmental disaster serves as a chilling reminder that ignoring environmental concerns could lead to catastrophic consequences. While The Simpsons never specified when such an event would happen, its message is clear. The lack of action to protect our planet could lead to a crisis of epic proportions. In other words, the dome they proposed might not be so ridiculous after all. It might become a necessary solution if we continue down this path. The reality has never been more grim. Just this year, we've witnessed a string of devastating environmental events, from massive hailstorms in Texas and Colorado to deadly tornado outbreaks and record-breaking heat waves in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Imagine temperatures reaching 125 degrees, hotter than a pizza oven. And that's just the beginning. Wildfires have ravaged thousands of acres of land in California and Oregon, while droughts in the Southeast and floods in the Midwest have wreaked havoc across the U.S. And it's not just America. Southern Europe and parts of Asia have faced similar disasters, leading to thousands of deaths and widespread infrastructure failures. And this isn't a scene from The Simpsons. This is real life. Scientists' warning. Is it too late? Scientists are warning that without immediate global action, these disasters will only get worse. But the big question is, what can we do to change course? Could we actually build something like the glass dome to protect the world from these looming environmental catastrophes? Sounds crazy, right? But wait, let's not dismiss it too quickly. After all, who would have thought Donald Trump would become president or Disney would buy Fox a few years ago? So, what can we do? Sure, not everyone believes we need to build a giant glass dome to protect the planet, though it would be tricky on the budget. But the warnings from The Simpsons shouldn't be taken lightly. If there's one thing we need to acknowledge, it's that The Simpsons isn't just a cartoon. It's a cautionary tale, delivered with all its satirical humor and chilling truths wrapped up in absurd scenarios. At the same time, The Simpsons serves as a reminder of humanity's fragility and our responsibility to safeguard the environment, not just for future generations, but for ourselves. We may not have a dome, but we can create a more sustainable future if we take action now. So the next time you watch The Simpsons, don't just sit back and laugh. Take a moment to think about what they're really saying. Because maybe, just maybe, a little bit of humor is all we need to remind ourselves of the urgent responsibility we have to protect this planet before we find ourselves trapped in an environmental disaster that The Simpsons warned us about long ago. colonization of Mars, Bill Gates, Stephen Hawking, Paul McCartney, Michael Jordan, Michelle Kwan. They must be starting a new civilization on Mars with our best and brightest. If we are being honest, this prediction by The Simpsons is one of the most anticipated by many. It involves a scene in season 27, episode 16, where Lisa picks up interest in signing up for the Mars One mission, much to the dismay of her family. Seeing that they couldn't dissuade her, Marge joined Lisa, so they became the only ones left in the program. Eventually, what makes things interesting is when they fast forward 35 years later, showing Marge and Lisa living on Mars. Normally, this sort of dream would seem out of reach, but with Elon Musk at the forefront of space exploration, this very episode from The Simpsons is starting to materialize way faster than we could ever imagine. As a matter of fact, Elon Musk's SpaceX project has always had one focal point in the last decade: the colonization of Mars. This became known to the public when he announced the initiative at the International Astronautical Congress in 2016. For a project that seems rather ambiguous, Elon Musk has proposed to debunk the ambiguity by sending cargo to the planet. However, the mission has not been completed yet. Still, that doesn't change the fact that the SpaceX company has made quite a lot of progress, having gotten a proper layout and overview of the planet. They are a step further to accomplishing the cargo missions to Mars in the first quarter of the year. In all honesty, this would be a great achievement for mankind. However, this is only a primary goal for Elon Musk's SpaceX. The main goal is to send humans down to Mars to colonize the planet, and it's likely to happen in 2025. Elon Musk said it himself at the Startup HK Festival in Hong Kong. He said that our very sustenance as human beings relies on us going to Mars. He also mentioned that, just like you back up your hard drive, we should back up life too. It gets even more interesting. Apparently, while the billionaire was talking to the moderator on the forum, he also hinted at how human missions are bound to start in 2025. Despite the doubts about the company's technical and financial abilities to colonize the planet, in truth, the mission is already in motion. Elon's recent investments have all been to generate the revenue needed to accomplish this mission. So, when you finally see humans on Mars, just know that The Simpsons saw it first. Music-induced mind control. The Simpsons episode The Springfield Connection, which aired in 1996, features a humorous subplot about music used for mind control. In the episode, a rock band uses a music player as a mind control device, a comical take on the power of music. However, recent developments in technology and psychology make this idea seem surprisingly relevant. Music's impact on our emotions and behaviors has been well documented. Studies reveal that specific tunes can change our mood, improve focus, or influence our choices. This phenomenon is utilized in various fields, such as marketing and therapy, where music helps guide our emotional responses and decisions. Technological advances have furthered this concept. Neurotechnology, which involves manipulating brain activity through sound and other stimuli, is progressing. While it's not yet possible to control thoughts directly, it's clear that music and sound significantly affect our mental state. The Simpsons had already humorously imagined a future where music could be used for mind control, and this playful prediction mirrors real-world research and technological advancements. Suppression of green energy. Do you know how the world is slowly transitioning toward the complete adoption of solar vehicles and EVs? Well, it seems like not everyone is particularly excited about this development. A vivid depiction of this displeasure can be seen in a recent episode of The Simpsons, titled Paths to Glory. In this episode, Lisa Simpson, who happens to be a renowned inventor, builds a solar-powered vehicle that she uses in a roller derby. Although she was barely a fraction of a mile from winning, a Duff blimp blocks out the sun and reduces her speed to 0 before she crosses the finish line. Of course, the whole thing led to the townspeople laughing at her invention as a failure. Normally, this scene could be easily overlooked. Still, when properly looked at in the grand scheme of things, and the Simpsons' ability to predict future events, we just simply can't turn a blind eye to how this could relate to a possible event that is likely to unfold in 2025. It turns out that while companies like Tesla continue to build EVs and solar-powered vehicles, big oil companies like ExxonMobil aren't really excited, and it's easy to figure out why. As these vehicles continue to hit the roads, sales of oil would reduce drastically, causing the companies to run out of business. Because the companies know the implications involved, they have long been looking for faults in EVs and solar-powered vehicles. Automakers across the world are racing to produce a future free of fossil fuels. But the electric car of tomorrow is anything but traditional. This is the future. Meet the Aptera, a three-wheeled electric vehicle that can run on the power of the sun. One that would likely shift the purchase of automobiles in their favor. Just to tell you how desperate they are, there was even a time when a subsidiary of ExxonMobil launched an ad campaign against EVs. The ad read, "Freedom means not being attached to a cable. Disconnecting feels a lot like breaking free." Imagine that. With the global adoption of EVs already surpassing 10 million, ExxonMobil is starting to do more than ad campaigns. As a matter of fact, while they look towards the suppression of these vehicles, they have outlined a couple of goals for the year 2025 to win back the trust of customers. One of them is to look for a means to reduce carbon footprints and invest in lower carbon alternatives. While at it, they still work behind the scenes by lobbying against legislation that promotes EV infrastructure and regulatory policies favoring renewable energy in various U.S. states. Exxon and other oil-backed groups have even partnered with organizations like the American Petroleum Institute to oppose plans that would expand EV charging stations. This is more like putting their very own Duff blimp out there to make people see how solar vehicles and EVs are a failure. That said, we might be seeing a significant shift in 2025. If that happens, The Simpsons predicted it first. Flying cars. Talking about automobiles, there's a chance that we are going to be seeing flying cars in 2025. Yes, you heard that right. We are talking about actual flying cars. A perfect description of what this would be like was seen in the 1992 episode titled Itchy and Scratchy Land. In this episode, Bart and Lisa got to see their future thanks to a machine that Professor Frink invented. However, Bart's own future wasn't really as exciting as Lisa's. Apparently, in Bart's future, he ended up spending all their savings just to get one of these flying cars, as it was seen as a normal ride at the time. Imagine just how furious Marge must have been. Well, we aren't here to question Bart's comedic bad choices. What you should pay attention to is the presence of flying cars in this episode. If we had talked about the possibility of there being flying cars, say, maybe a decade ago, many would have laughed over the idea as being ridiculous. Heck, even in this present time of ours, for many, it is something to be skeptical about. However, what if we tell you that we might be seeing cars in the air in 2025? Still don't believe it? Well, the company known as Samson Sky has stepped up to make the unbelievable happen. Samson Sky's revolutionary Switchblade has been on a mission to redefine personal transportation since 2008. Their goal has always been to ensure the convenience of a car by ensuring both the speed and functionality of an aircraft. While tests and experiments have been ongoing behind the scenes for years, they are finally ready to release their flying sports cars to the public in 2025. And just to tell you how much people are excited for these cars that are about to take to the roads, there are already over 1,600 pre-orders worldwide. Still, the number slowly continues to increase. By our estimation, and that of The Simpsons, by the time the car is officially released, they will rapidly become so rampant that you'd casually see them in the skies while taking a walk. While the company was giving a hint on what to expect, They said the vehicle is a three-wheeled hybrid machine capable of converting from a car to an aircraft in less than 3 minutes. They also pointed out how it could reach speeds of up to 211 kilometers per hour on the road and cruise in the skies at 257 kilometers per hour. As if that's not enough, the car is bound to fit just about any small airstrip and any garage. Pretty cool, right? In a few months, we wouldn't have to worry about the means to bypass urban traffic anymore. Clearly, this is one of the most exciting news stories out there, and we bet you didn't see that one coming. Although, while you might have never imagined the possibility of flying cars, The Simpsons did. Our advice is best to keep about $200,000 aside for the car that's coming to take the skies. You definitely don't want to end up like Bart. That would be a shame. Which of The Simpsons' predictions do you see happening in 2025? How soon do you think they are bound to happen? Greece's economic downfall. In a fascinating example of The Simpsons seemingly predicting real-world events, the show featured a storyline about Greece's economic troubles long before they became a major news topic. The episode in question is The Simpsons Guy, a crossover with The Family Guy that aired in 2014. In this episode, Homer and his family travel to Greece. The episode humorously depicts the country as financially distressed, with jokes about Greece's economic problems. The episode's portrayal, while exaggerated for comedic effect, was strangely prescient of the real-life economic crisis Greece faced shortly after it. It is no news that Greece experienced a severe financial crisis with high debt levels and economic instability. The crisis led to widespread unemployment, austerity measures, and significant financial challenges for the country. The situation attracted global attention as Greece struggled with its debt and the implications for the Eurozone. However, one thing is clear. This episode's accurate prediction of Greece's economic troubles is another example of how the show's creators seem to have a surprising ability to anticipate future events, even in global finance. U.S. men's curling team winning gold. Homer Simpson is depicted on the U.S. Olympic curling team, and they take home the gold, just like the U.S. men's curling team did for the first time ever this weekend. Again, The Simpsons seem to have predicted a significant moment in the world of sports with their 2010 episode, Boy Meets Curl. In this episode, Homer and Marge become an unlikely curling team and win a gold medal at the Olympics, with Sweden taking the silver. Then we came to the Winter Olympics, and the real-life U.S. men's curling team achieved a stunning victory that made fans remember this episode. Led by Skip John Schuster, the U.S. team won the gold medal, while Sweden claimed the silver, just as the show had portrayed. The episode depicted Homer and Marge's victory as an unexpected and dramatic upset, much like how surprising the real U.S. team's win was. Before the Olympics, curling wasn't a strong suit for the U.S., and many had low expectations for their performance. The show's storyline about an underdog team winning against the odds captured what really went down in reality. The show has continued to be entertaining, yet surprisingly accurate. Europe puts Greece on eBay. This off-the-cuff joke from The Simpsons has become eerily true. There it is right there. Europe puts Greece on eBay. This line appeared in the 1994 episode titled Lisa the Beauty Queen. In this episode, Lisa Simpson participates in a beauty pageant. She uses a device called the Simpsons Touch, a sort of early version of a touchscreen device. At one point, Lisa tries to send a message, but it gets hilariously garbled, transforming her intended words into something completely different. This scene is a funny take on how technology might mess up simple tasks, like sending messages. Fast forward to the 21st century, and autocorrect features on smartphones have become a significant part of everyday life. Autocorrect is designed to correct typing errors. However, it often produces comically incorrect or confusing results, much like what Lisa experienced in the episode. people have shared countless funny stories and screenshots of autocorrect fails where messages turn into bizarre and unintended phrases. While the show didn't predict autocorrect per se, it did anticipate the humorous potential of technology failing us in everyday scenarios. The fall of George Clooney. The show depicts him as a washed-up actor who has lost his charm and fame, reduced to doing low-budget movies and struggling to stay relevant. This brief scene was meant to be a joke, but fans have started to wonder if there's more to it over time. Surprisingly, as we enter 2024, the prediction seems to carry a strange weight. George Clooney, known for his roles in blockbuster films and status as a Hollywood icon, has stepped back from the limelight in recent years. While Clooney is still respected and admired, his acting career has taken a quieter turn, with fewer significant roles and more focus on directing, producing, and his philanthropic efforts. This shift in his career mirrors the fictional fall from grace that The Simpsons hinted at. But what makes this prediction intriguing is the strange accuracy with which The Simpsons has previously forecasted other events. Clooney's career isn't that bad, as the show joked. But still, the idea of a beloved star fading from the spotlight feels oddly familiar in the context of the series' strange foresight. Holograms take over in 2024. One of The Simpsons' most fascinating predictions is coming to life with the idea of holograms taking over various aspects of our lives. This idea was first mentioned in a 1995 episode, Homer the Great. In this episode, Homer joins a secret society called the Stonecutters, where he's treated like a VIP and even encounters a futuristic holographic version of himself. Flash forward to 2024, and holograms are no longer just a quirky part of TV shows. They are becoming an integral part of our daily lives. Companies like Microsoft are developing HoloLens, a mixed reality headset. Mixed reality allows us to find new ways to express ourselves creatively and also problem-solve creatively. It blends digital content with the natural world using augmented reality, AR. It features see-through lenses that project holographic images onto the user's actual worldview. This allows users to interact with both physical and virtual objects simultaneously. Now, you might actually be right if you think holograms are starting to replace real-life interactions. For example, companies use holograms for virtual product launches and promotional events. In some places, holographic customer service representatives answer questions and solve issues, making businesses more efficient. But what's particularly intriguing is how The Simpsons managed to foresee this trend decades ago. Now, as holograms become more sophisticated and widespread, it feels like the show was ahead of its time, envisioning a future where digital and physical worlds merge more seamlessly. Disney acquires 20th Century Fox in 2024. One of the most intriguing Simpsons predictions has come true with Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox. Disney owns The Simpsons, and I kind of remember that The Simpsons predicted this just a couple of years ago. They predict all sorts of things. It's really, really scary. So take a look at this. This was back in 1998. They had a sign that read, 21st Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney. That was in 1998. This prediction first appeared in the show's Bart to the Future It episode in 1999. In this episode, Lisa Simpson, now an adult and the President of the United States, mentions that her administration is dealing with the aftermath of Disney's purchase of 20th Century Fox. At the time, Disney's acquisition of Fox seemed like a far-fetched idea, but in 2017, it became a reality. Disney announced it bought most of 21st Century Fox's assets for $71.3 billion. This included famous movie studios, TV networks, and a treasure trove of beloved franchises. The deal, which was finalized in March 2019, meant that Disney now owned iconic Fox properties like The Simpsons, Avatar, and X-Men. The prediction in The Simpsons was striking because it showed how the show often mixes humor with surprisingly accurate foresight. Lisa's mention of Disney's acquisition of Fox was more than just a funny gag. It hinted at the possibility of significant media consolidation long before it happened. This merger reshaped the entertainment industry, combining Disney's expansive content with Fox's rich library, leading to a powerhouse in media and entertainment. By predicting this significant media merger, the show once again proved its knack for anticipating future trends and events. Artificial intelligence apocalypse. The Simpsons' prediction about an artificial intelligence apocalypse gained much attention in 2024. In a 1994 episode titled Treehouse of Horror Vi, the show portrayed a frightening scenario where Homer's attempts to create a new AI robot led to chaos. The AI, originally designed to help, quickly turned against humans, reflecting fears about technology getting out of control. This storyline was pure fiction, but it resonated with real-world concerns. Fast forward to 2024, and AI has become a significant topic in tech and media. With advancements in AI, from chatbots to complex algorithms, there's growing debate about the potential dangers. Some worry that as AI becomes more advanced, it could lead to unintended consequences if not carefully managed. The Simpsons episode humorously exaggerated these fears, showing a world where AI becomes a rogue force, controlling and threatening humanity. While AI doesn't threaten our existence, the AI running amok captures ongoing discussions about AI ethics, safety, and regulation. Nobel Prize winner, in a classic display of The Simpsons' strange ability to predict the future, the show's episode Lisa the Skeptic from 1994 featured a fascinating prophecy involving the Nobel Prize. Lisa and her friends made predictions for the Nobel Prize winners in the episode. One of the names mentioned was Bengt Holmstrom, a real-life economist. This prediction was incredibly accurate, as Bengt Holmstrom and another economist named Oliver Hart won the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences. Holmstrom's work on contract theory, which deals with how contracts and incentives shape behavior in economics, was recognized for its profound impact on the field. This episode aired over 20 years before Holmstrom's Nobel win, making it an impressive example of the show's foresight. Barbie movie and Trump's arrest. We have breaking news. The Simpsons predicted Trump's arrest. The Simpsons have done it again. It has only been 4 months into 2023, and 2 brand new accurate predictions have been made: the Barbie movie and the arrest of the President of the United States. The Simpsons have once again hit the mark with 2 remarkable predictions that came true in 2024: the release of the Barbie movie and Donald Trump's arrest. Years before Barbie's big screen debut became a reality in 2023, The Simpsons made an uncanny prediction in a 2007 episode called The Burns and the Bees. The show featured a scene where the character Martin Prince was seen with a Barbie movie poster. It was a brief and quirky reference, but it predicted the exact film to make waves in the movie industry over a decade later. Then came another jaw-dropping prediction in a 2015 episode, The Burns and the Bees again. The show included a storyline about Donald Trump facing legal troubles. The episode depicted a fictional news report about Trump being arrested, which seemed like pure satire at the time. But now, in 2024, Trump faces legal issues leading to his arrest. Both predictions came true in ways that left many viewers astonished. The Barbie movie made its way to theaters and became a cultural phenomenon. Meanwhile, Trump's arrest echoed the fictional scenario from the show. Isko wanthui inur, censoring Michelangelo's David. In a surprising twist, The Simpsons seemed to predict a controversial debate about censoring famous art. The episode in question is The Burns and the Bees, which aired in 1992. In this episode, the town of Springfield debates whether to censor Michelangelo's iconic statue of David. More than 1 million people visit the statue of David every year. It is the most iconic piece in one of the most visited museums in Florence. The plot revolves around Mr. Burns, who decides to sponsor a new exhibit at the Springfield Museum. He chooses Michelangelo's David, but the town's more conservative residents demand that the statue be covered up because of its nudity. Fast forward to recent years, and similar controversies have occurred globally. In 2024, there were debates about whether public displays of Michelangelo's David should be censored or altered to fit modern sensibilities. This debate often revolves around decency and cultural values, mirroring the fictional scenario in The Simpsons. Siegfried and Roy tiger attack. In a twist that left many astonished, The Simpsons seemed to predict the famous Siegfried and Roy tiger attack years before it happened. This prediction is one of the show's most scary and intriguing examples of seemingly foreseeing real-life events. In 1993, The Simpsons aired an episode called Springfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling. In this episode, Mr. Burns builds a casino in Springfield and hires a German magician duo, Gunther and Ernst, who closely resemble the real-life illusionists Siegfried and Roy. During their performance, one of the magicians is attacked by a white tiger. What if I told you this scene mirrors a shocking real-life event that occurred years later? During a live performance in Las Vegas, Siegfried and Roy's show took a dramatic turn when Roy Horn was attacked by one of their white tigers. The attack was severe and nearly ended Roy's life, making headlines around the world. The resemblance between the fictional attack in the episode and the real-life incident was uncanny, sparking intrigue among fans and critics alike. Surprising Mars colonization. In The Simpsons' episode, Deep Space Homer, Homer Simpson becomes an astronaut and ends up on a space mission. The show aired in 1994, playfully imagined space travel and hinted at future colonization. Homer's adventures in space seemed like a far-off fantasy back then. Still, this episode mirrors real-life developments in space exploration. In recent years, the idea of colonizing Mars has moved from fiction to serious scientific discussion. Companies like SpaceX, led by Elon Musk, are working on technology to send humans to Mars and establish a colony there. The ambition to make Mars a new home for humanity has captured the imagination of scientists, engineers, and space enthusiasts alike. While comedic, the show's portrayal of space missions tapped into the real-world fascination with exploring new frontiers. As real-life plans to colonize Mars become more concrete, it's striking how closely these developments echo the show's playful take on space exploration. This connection between fiction and reality has continued to stun fans of the show and scientists alike. What do you think about these strange but accurate predictions of The Simpsons? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the following video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it. Now it's time for prayer. My dear friends, let us now explore how God's redirections often lead to our greatest breakthroughs and spiritual growth, transforming what appears as detours into divine appointments. Consider Thomas, who was absent when Jesus first appeared to the disciples after the resurrection. A moment that might have seemed like unfortunate timing. John 20:24 tells us, "Now Thomas, called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came." His doubt, which many might view as weakness, led to one of the most powerful declarations of Jesus as Lord and God in Scripture, proving that even our moments of questioning can be transformed into testimonies. John 20:28 reveals, "And Thomas answered and said to him, 'My Lord and my God.'" Through Thomas's struggle, God provided future generations with a powerful testimony of faith's triumph over doubt, showing how divine redirection can turn our deepest questions into unshakable conviction. Sometimes what we perceive as missed opportunities or unfortunate timing are actually divine setups for deeper revelation and more impactful ministry. Like Thomas, you may feel you've missed your moment or arrived too late to certain opportunities, wondering if God has passed you by. Yet God's timing remains perfect, orchestrating events to build not just your faith, but the faith of countless others who will learn from your experience and draw strength from your testimony. Many of us resist redirection because we've invested heavily in our current course, building reputations and establishing comfortable routines. We fear what others might think if we change direction or admit we need adjustment, allowing pride to hinder our growth. Yet, divine redirection often precedes divine elevation, preparing us for levels of ministry and influence we couldn't have imagined. Consider Philippians 3:13. Brethren, I do not count myself to have apprehended, but one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead. God's redirection might require leaving behind familiar methods, comfortable positions, or even good reputations that no longer serve His highest purposes. The disciples had to leave their fishing nets, not because fishing was wrong, but because God had greater plans that required complete surrender and new methods. My friends, sometimes God redirects us not from bad to good, but from good to better, from better to best, calling us to release what's comfortable to embrace what's commissioned. Consider how Phoebe carried out her purpose through practical service. Romans 16:1 reminds us, I commend to you Phoebe, our sister, who is a servant of the church in Cenchrea. She likely carried Paul's letter to the Romans, making her instrumental in delivering one of the most important documents in Christian history. What seemed like a simple courier task was actually a divine assignment carrying eternal impact. My friends, never underestimate the significance of what appears to be small assignments. Sometimes our purpose isn't about public ministry, but private faithfulness. God may have positioned you to be strength for someone facing their greatest challenge. Your presence and persistence might be exactly what someone needs to press forward. Consider the profound impact of walking in divine purpose with patience. James 5:11 tells us, Indeed, we count them blessed who endure. You have heard of the perseverance of Job, and seen the end intended by the Lord, that the Lord is very compassionate and merciful. Purpose often unfolds gradually, requiring patient endurance. What seems like delay might be divine development, preparing you for greater impact. My dear friends, your current season of waiting isn't wasted. It's preparation. Every experience, every challenge, every seeming setback is developing your character for your calling. God's timeline for your purpose may differ from your expectations, but His timing is perfect. Now, to all those within the sound of my voice, let us go to the Lord in prayer. I want you to pray this prayer with me, or listen to this prayer in faith, so that you can have all the blessings of this prayer. Let us pray. If you were blessed by this message, type the word Amen in the comment section below. I declare that all the blessings of this prayer are now upon you in the name of Jesus. You can help us reach more people and spread the gospel. You can do this by sharing the video with a friend or family member who you know needs the blessing of this prayer, and by clicking the like button. Also, remember to subscribe to our daily Jesus devotional channel for more videos that will bless your heart and uplift your spirit. We appreciate all those who support us. You're blessed to be a blessing. Now that you have prayed this prayer, you can ask a pastor to baptize you at a local church and make that decision public. Baptism is a symbol of that decision to follow Jesus. I encourage you to have fellowship with other believers to learn more about your new life and to get to know more about God. Please feel free to leave your prayer requests in the comment section so that we can present them before God for your blessings and victory. Also, we invite other believers on the YouTube platform and all over the world to join us and start praying for you right now. We want you to know that even if you don't see a reply to your prayer request, it doesn't mean that you were not prayed for. Rest assured, we are actively lifting up each request to God that is in accordance with His will. We believe in the power of prayer to bring comfort, healing, and guidance in accordance with God's perfect plan. To God be all the glory. May the grace and peace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all.